Hello guys, Artifact Talk here, and now we are back with another Market Watch. This Market Watch, I'm going to be going over some of the decks, in particular the cores that you're going to want to pick up, instead of generally the ones you want to sell, before the ban list drops. And we're going to start with talking about Herald of Perfection here, because Heralds, man, me with the Heralds, yes I know, but you have to understand something about this deck. While it has a little bit of a struggle going second, it's like standard anti-meta that if it goes first, it wins. Because you're going to establish Herald with a bunch of negates, and your opponent's not going to be able to break through it. But you also have to take in consideration the level of True Draco representation in the format, because more or less if True Draco's in the format, this deck can't do anything. Same way that if True Draco's in the meta, anti-meta can't do anything. Because both of these decks were a smash up. Same with Paleo. True Draco is heavy in the format, Paleo can't do very much. They can do a lot more than what they were able to do before, because now they don't have to do a masterpiece, but still. Just citing one Mellotron and the whole matchup basically becomes ruined. Where basically their game put into a position where you really can't do anything. So. And the best looking Herald is only $4.50. And it's like, people underestimate this deck so much. Highest rarity Manju, only $5, probably lower. Again, rituals. Again, this is the one ritual deck that's actually really good that has been most underrated. Vendreads have been gaining a lot of popularity lately. Necros, for understandable reasons, that have been getting a lot of popularity. We're going to talk about those two decks next. Necros, understandable, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because Necros have already lost so much on the ban list, what else is there they could lose? Like, what do you do? Hit Classalis to 1? Of course you're not going to do that. The deck already doesn't do anything. The only thing that this deck can get is better off of a ban list, which is why good ritual decks are usually a safe investment, because ritual decks have been hindered by the fact that Necros were basically tier 0 for about a good 2 years in OCG and TCG before the problem was actually addressed. As so many good generic ritual cards like Preparation of Rites had to get damaged in the process. So, when you're investing in rituals, you really have to understand here that it's more of a test of time of your patience. If you're willing to wait for all the stuff to come off the ban list within the next year or two, then ritual is probably going to be a good investment for you. But if you want something that's going to give you immediate action, it's probably not the best investment for you. But Herald is just one of those decks that, if people play the proper cards and people build a strong side deck with cards like Evenly, Impermanence, Call by the Graves, maybe some hand traps, spear modes, basically a standard OP stuff that goes into side decks these days. Basically, if you do that, I'm pretty sure. Alright. If you just side deck the OP stuff, Herald could top a fairly strong locals and the regionals. But again, you're dealing with the test of time here. And as a result of the test of time, it's going to be pretty tough topping with this deck right now, because again, the problem with the Herald is, again, if Draco's in the format, this deck will not do shit. As long as True Dracos are, that's why barrier statues stop being played, because of the threat of the True Dracos popping up. That's why a lot of anti-meta players say maybe you should try side decking Fossil Dyna instead if you want to use them so much. I personally miss running Fossil Dyna in the main, but unfortunately, it's what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Because True Dracos is still one of the biggest threats arguably in this game's history. I still say True Draco is one of the best decks of. It's arguably the best deck of all time. Because you can't fucking side deck for it. You side deck Mask of Restrict, Heritage, Diagram, Pop, bye Mask of Restrict. Done. You side Macrocosmos, they just do their thing anyway. You side an anti-spell Fragrance, set spell, tribute spell, pop. Like, you can't side for Draco. It's ridiculous. You can't. It's unstoppable. Especially when the deck was in its prime. When the deck was in its prime where it had 3 Return, 3 Masterpiece, 3 Dynamite, 3 Ignis, 3 everything, you couldn't stop it. There was no stopping this deck if the person actually knew what the hell they were doing. You can commit your entire side deck to Draco, and you still lose. So, speaking from experience, when I played against the deck when the deck was in its prime, and considering the fact that I played True Draco for just arguably a year now? Yeah, just about a year. More or less, this isn't going to be a matchup that you're going to be trying to fight. It's just going to be like, okay, Scoop, go to game 2. Scoop, go to the next round. It's not going to be one of those, okay, I may have a bad chance against you, but I'm going to be able to survive. No, it's going to be one of those, okay, I give up on life, Scoop. Because it's just not going to be a matchup that is arguably winnable for you. But let's go to Necros now. Here we go. Now where I wanted to be, Valkyros. I've been wanting to talk about this thing for a while. And the price point in this card is pretty high. Basically like the old school Impermanence, man, when it comes in terms of price point. A little more cheaper, like about $10-15 cheaper than Impermanence, alright? But here's the thing with this deck. Again, you don't have very much at your disposal right now. You're working against yourself and the test of time. I'm gonna keep bringing up this logic. You're playing on how patient you are with this deck. If you're willing to wait a couple of years for the Necro support to get off the ban list, and I think it's gonna happen within the next year or two, but it's definitely not happening this year. I might see these things come off the ban list at my high school graduation. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, it's if you want to play Necros, you're probably not gonna have a good time, unless if you're playing Goki all day long, because this deck smashes Goki hard. Because Necros is an anti-extra deck, but if you're going against True Draco, just scoot the whole match, because you're not gonna win. Again, a lot of these rogue options lose to True Draco because True Draco swallows whole rogue as a whole. That probably sounded dirty, but I don't care. But anyways, yeah, you're not as a rogue player. You're not gonna have a fun time playing against True Draco, and you're really gonna have to prepare yourself for the matchup and how shitty it's really gonna be for you. Anyways, next deck, OT Conductor Tyranno. You guys know this card, right? Yeah, of course you do. The deck that even after 10 months, even arguably about a year and a half to 2 years after the deck's release, it still got top 64 at Nats in North America. Hey, you must be thinking to yourself, how the fuck does this deck manage to do what it did? And the answer, my friends, my friends are looking for is Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, because the fact that you can just smash into your opponent's defenses and just attack, and do 1,000 points of damage and just send this shit straight to the grave. It can't even float if it was a Cosmo ship. Funny enough, Cosmo have a horrible matchup against dinosaurs. That's the funny thing, and dinosaurs are the budget ones here. Which makes it's just going to be one of these things that's incredibly hard to do. deal with when it actually hits the field if you don't have a solemn strike or a warning or a judgment to answer this guy's summon. It's not going to be an easy thing for you to really deal with. You're going to have to find some way to play around this, because if you don't play around this, I say after the third turn, you're getting OTK'd. And it's going to be a game loss for you, and you're going to have to go into time. Because dinosaurs are a very grindy deck. And when you are playing against a grindy deck, you generally don't want to go into time very much. But I digress. Let's get to the next one. And now I'm going to talk about fucking Six Samurais. And this deck actually managed to take first place at Omaha Regionals. And when I saw this, I was like, what the fuck? I'm serious. What is this? How is Six Samurai top in a format with Goki and Sky Strikers? It's not possible. And the Trickstars are in. And it's like, and I saw the main deck and I couldn't believe it. No hand traps. No hand traps, man. And basically, if he had to go second game one, he lost. And I saw this shit and I was shocked. But chances are, Six Samurais aren't going to do anything. Chances are this is going to remain to be a complete fallacy in the archives of our Yu-Gi-Oh! So don't get used to Six Samurai topping very much, because until this card that I have right here on the screen comes back to 3, Six Samurais ain't doing anything. Because this card at 1, you're never gonna see it. If you do see it, you're lucky. You're winning that game. That's it. You won if you see this thing going first. But again, chances are this is gonna be a complete fallacy. I personally wouldn't invest in it, unless if we see the deck doing more and having a little chunk on the pie chart going into next format when the ban list drops, and the deck doesn't be like one of those, okay, I'm the hero that pops up and never shows up again. I need a hero. But unless if this deck isn't that knight in shining armor you see come and go, that rare unicorn that you see flow into the rainbows again, chances are this is going to be a complete fallacy in our records, and I personally wouldn't invest in Six Samurai unless if you have inside information on where this deck is going to go. Unless if you have a crystal ball that allows you to foretell the positive future of this deck, I wouldn't put my money into it. Or unless if you're just playing it just because you love Six Sams. In that case, I can't argue with you. Hey, can't tell you what to love. But if you're looking on a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Or a competitive collector's perspective, wouldn't put too much eggs in this basket. Maybe pick up some of the legendary stuff. Maybe pick up some original super gateways in order to have card economy build up over time. Because gateways coming back to 3 anyway. Anyways, it already came back to 1 over here. They're gonna push it to 2, and then they're gonna push it to 3, and then you're gonna have to side hand traps for this deck all the time. But it shouldn't really be that hard of a matchup though, because again, Ash Blossom, Droll and Lockbird, even Ghost Ogre on the gateway. Again, it hurts the deck. Again, hand traps. When you're playing combo decks, hand traps are always going to be your worst enemy. Anyways, on to the next deck. Totally awesome. Boo. Honestly, it's been 2 years. It's going on 2 years since this deck came out, and I'm shocked that this deck even did anything. Because I saw the deck list of the guy who was playing in North American Nats and our North American WCQ. It was horrible. And it makes me think, if you're going to be playing in a tournament where there's 3,000 people, where there's like almost 3,000 people. You had to attend events throughout the whole year in order to try to make top 64 in order to get your invite. You just managed to get your invite. And you're sitting in the top 32 tables. Don't you think your friends or your locals would actually help you out and bring you in as advertising material in order to lend you cards if you're attending that? It makes you think that almost anyone that goes to that would be worth at least lending stuff to. You don't have to sponsor them with free shit. Just lend them the cards. Especially if they're able to show good faith. Like, I saw the guy's deck list and it was horrible. Why the fuck would you play Chalice on the side deck? The only purpose that Chalice has is to go in first, hit his old, and make them pass. Like, that's the only real use you're gonna get at Chalice. And I don't think he was running evenly matched. He had no hand traps. The only expensive card, quote unquote, that he even had was Card Demise. Did he even have it permanent? I don't even think so. If he didn't even have a permanent, what the fuck, man? I couldn't even watch the deck profile, seriously. I just heard from what the judges were talking about, and I just made my conclusions. I don't even think he was playing... Was he even playing Spear Mode? I don't even know. But anyways... Just because people are playing the deck shitty and just manage to get lucky and get tops, doesn't mean that you have to play such a horrible deck list. If you know how to play this deck properly, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to steal some wins. Especially at locals, maybe at regional. And that's, if you manage to win at that's with this deck, well, the crystal ball is in your favor. Because this deck, I'm sorry, it's trash in terms of its competitiveness, competitive ability at a World Championship qualifier event. For if you're gonna go to Nats, you might as well just play True Draco, because that deck can actually do something. And you're not gonna lose to the mirror match if you're quote unquote skillful. If you're quote unquote skillful, I think you should be able to last in the mirror match of the True Dracos. As a matter of fact, that's what's next. Dynamite Knight, Dynamite Fire, and Dynamite Knuckle, all kinds of names you can give this guy. And his deck. One nickname I give to this deck is the deck that has no limits. You know why? Because in full power, this deck was unbeatable. When this deck was at full power. Can't hit the grave. You can't stop them by touching the graveyard. You can't stop them from stopping special summoning. You can't stop them by using floodgates, because they have the spells that pop your floodgates. You literally have to OTK them or FTK them in one shot when they were at full power in order to be able to stop them. Oh, one more thing. Here's a little bit of salt. Masterpiece. Get fucked, scrub. Like, this deck, even though I'm a loyal True Draco player, but even now I'll admit, this deck was just ridiculous and redundant for a very long time. And it kind of still is, because no one prepares for it anymore, because people are stupid. Like, no one will actually take the time to prepare for this matchup, and you can pick this deck up at quite a fair budget. Although I recommend getting your permanences and evenlies, maybe a few copies of Ash for the side, because again, you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2018. There really isn't much of a room for a budget at this point, especially if you're playing in my hometown state, New York. I'm going to be going into detail about that much later in September. But anyways, I'm gonna be making a video about that myself, about competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On a budget and how successful it really is. And because there's a lot of truth that needs to be really brought up about budget decks in a sense. So, anyways, True Dracos, again, your main expensive card you're going to be buying is Card Demise. Like, this is for the actual core of cards that you need to play the deck. Now, for the core that you need to play the deck competitively, I advise you get a part-time job, save some money, and buy the rest of the cards. Because again, you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2018. Hand traps, evenly matched, and impermanents exist. You need these cards in order to play competitively. Even on a locals level now. Even on a locals. Because chances are, if your locals is halfway decent, it's going to have some meta players in there. You need these goddamn cards in order to play your deck competitively. Let's be real here. But anyways, let's go on to my next option of what you can play for this format. Are you a Mexican that ever got stopped by Inspector Board? Because if you are, this deck just might not be for you. Because you are probably one of the few people that have raged so much at what this card actually does for anti-meta. Like, anti-meta decks, they just normal summon this shit, and they're like, okay, Inspector Board, set 4, pass, hold on to the demise. No, it's Inspector Board, set 3, pass, hold on to the demise for next turn. Like, oh my god. And it's even worse if you're a Danger player, because Danger actually have no way to work around this card. And even if you start spinning on Link Monsters, chances are you're going to fall to a Solemn Strike. Speaking of that, yeah, I'm going to stop talking about this for a moment, and I'm going to be talking about the new pot card and the new Solemn card. Well, according to Cap G, the new Solemn card is supposed to be coming out in the next set, but if the Solemn card is good, I'll be able to pick that up for anti-meta as well. If it actually does something against the meta that we're in. The pot card, chances are, I have a feeling that this card is going to involve something with the graveyard instead of banishing cards this time. I don't know, but I just have this gut feeling it's going to involve something in the graveyard. The new Solemn card, I actually have no fucking idea what's going to happen with that. But, you know, how these things work. But now we got that out of the way. Again, anti-meta is a cheap pick. Impermanence is bad in this deck, so you can take advantage of that and not having to buy arguably the most expensive card in the game right now. Just get some Winter Cherries and Evenlies with a whole bunch of really powerful extra deck targets. Again, most of your expenses is going to be going on the extra deck because you need to play Winter Cherries in this deck at this point in order for you to survive going second. And again, Inspector Board is just OP against hand traps. He wipes the floor with hand traps. And if you summon this going second against Danger or something like Inferno, oh my god, they're gonna rage. Because they can't do anything. So yeah, you can definitely pick up this deck for about a good $200. The standard core of it, of what you need for the main extra inside, and you should be able to go to events and so at least to locals and regionals and be able to top, because anti-meta has proven this on multiple times throughout this format. Now that True Draco is not as prevalent as it once was, that this deck can indeed top an event. And if you're afraid of True Draco and you can side Master Restrict, so although I'm not sure how useful that would be for you, honestly, your best bet is to just roll with the Evenly Matched. Because Evenly Matched going second against True Draco is one of those few cards that can actually wipe them out in one fell swoop. So, take it for what it is, take it for a grain of salt, and just come to terms with expensive cards being needed in order to give you a chance to really combat against the meta. Yeah. And let's get to the next topic. Struck. Burning fucking Abyss. This deck was able to get lots of very strong day 2s at the North American World Championship qualifiers. 69th place, basically one duel away from reaching top 64. Took first place at the UK Nats. And came with a bunch of close, super duper close day 2s at the European World Championship qualifiers, aka the Nats. Whatever the fuck you call it at this point. I don't care. But this deck, especially with its new danger counterpart coming out, you may want to start picking up these cards because dangers with BA is a very powerful combination. I mean, multiple YouTubers are showcasing it, and based on what I see this deck handling the meta as it is right now pretty easily. So what happens when our trifecta, our triple threat, our triple orgy gets banned from the strip club, aka the Yu-Gi-Oh format? What happens when Trickstars, Sky Strikers, and Gokis get regulated enough where they can't do very much? Well, Sky Striker is probably still going to be around here and there because I don't see them hitting Engage. Engage is not going to be the card they want to hit because they figure if the people who are not buying into Sky Strikers now are going to wait till the ban list comes out and then they'll see if the deck is still playable, they'll go buy it because they figure the deck will be more underwhelming and then we'll be able to hit the card in like sometime in 2019. And then we'll put an end to Sky Strikers there. But Goki is gonna die. I think we can all accept this. Goki has been doing way too much in the game as of late. Trickstars, the new rules as the World Championship event has proven, automatically hand Trickstars a fucking plate of food. Trickstars are being plattered and wavered hit left and right just off of the rules alone. The new rules need to be fixed, or Trickstars needs to be hit in order to rebalance out everything because Trickstars are just abusing the new rules too much and it's gotten to me already. Having to go into time against Trickstars, you're going to lose 100% of the time. Unless if they brick or you get super duper lucky in the very end and you draw the perfect combination of cards. Again, Trickstars is just going to be one of those things that you're always going to hate to play against. And, Droll and Reincarnation, the most powerful 2-card combo to date. And, again, but back on topic, Burning Abyss actually has a really strong chance because you're not playing against time. Well, you sort of are because you're playing against the time that's going to take them for them to come out with Cherubini. Ugh, I know. Cherubini, I wonder when he's actually going to get here because I've been waiting for this card to arrive here myself, trust me. Cherubini is broken. The Cherubini is broken. Also, you're waiting for the test of time of not only Cherubini, but Needle Fiber as well. Well, if you can stand the test of time and keep trying this deck out with dangers, you might actually get something really powerful going into next format. Since the ban list is right around the corner, now we're going into September. Chances are True Draco is still going to be around. Pendulums, most likely, just as last year, are going to be the best deck in the game for a short amount of time in the format. Give it a month and a half, and Pendulums will step down from being the best deck, and the new deck will be taking over the meta game. Yeah. So now we got this out of the way. Let's go to my overall analysis of what the best decks are going to be for next format. Starting with number 5, I believe the 5th best deck going into next format is going to be True Draco. Because, again, I know with the Dracos, we all hate, all of you hate True Dracos. But again, you have to understand that Monarchs Erupt, Gozen Match, and Rivalry of Warlords and all the Anti-Spell Fragrance are busted cards. And you're just going to have to come to terms with this as a whole and the fact that these are things. The next option, I believe, for number 4 is going to be Mech Knight Invoked. It's been topping throughout the entire year. Invoked has been topping all year long. And the moment they've been released, 2 to 4 tops every fucking event, the deck has been able to get anywhere from 2 to 4 tops. The deck is consistent with its tops. I believe that this has been proven. And the deck hasn't done nothing been hit. That means you are going to have a full power Mech Knight Invoke deck going into the next format. Since I'm kind of crunched on time here, I'm going to probably rush this a little bit. I believe that number 3 is going to be whatever. It's going to be whatever at this point, but what would number 3 be? I really don't know. Probably Sky Striker. And I believe, yeah, Sky Striker, because I can't really see them hitting more than Hornet Drones. Hornet Drones from 1, and that's probably going to be it. Number 2, I can see number 2 being Pendulum Magicians for a short period of time, because again, the deck hasn't done enough to get hit in the ban list, but it's been able to consistently get at least 1 top at major events. And even going to finals this year, which is quite impressive for a deck that's lost so much on the ban list. And then number 1, I believe number 1 is going to be whatever deck ends up becoming the most popular for next format. And I honestly can't predict what that is for you at this point, because I don't know where they're going to leave Goki alone. They're going to leave Trickstars. Because if they don't hit Goki enough, Goki's probably going to be up there until the new meta rolls out. Trickstars, if they don't get hit well enough, they're probably going to be up there themselves. But anyways, I've reached my 30-minute gap on this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my content. Like, subscribe, and peace.